Okay, but let's be honest, right? If you visualize a person that was like on Jeffrey Epstein's team that had like some low level job, like he's like a waiter, or maybe he like managed the kitchen staff, but everybody knew that he was like the sickest one out of the entire group. Like he like 3-year olds, right? 2 and 3-year olds. They're like, he's useful. You know, everybody knows he's a sick, demented guy. And he like 3-year olds. This is exactly who I visualize. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. So I already dropped a video about the Epstein thing today, but you know, this seems to be the hottest topic in the world right now. And so we have massive developments every couple hours, it seems like. And today is no different because Ghislaine Maxwell, you guys may recall Ghislaine Maxwell. She is the, the accomplice, or I guess the bottom B, or I don't even know what you would call her. She was the girl who existed to make the young girls feel comfortable enough to put themselves in compromising positions with Jeffrey Epstein that they probably wouldn't have done otherwise, because obviously if some, middle-aged man is like, hey, you know what I would love for you to do? I would love for you to meet me in my bedroom for the first time. I'm just going to go ahead and take my clothes off and, massage would be nice, and then don't worry, you'll get the money, and I'm definitely not a serial killer. It's like, even dumbbell teenagers probably, might feel a little bit uncomfortable with that. But when you have a woman there who's like, hey, sweetheart, so Jeffrey likes the da-da-da-da, they're like, oh, okay, this is safe, because there are no people psychotic enough to set up teenagers to be, touched, groomed, and, graped by a middle-aged man like that, or whatever you would call his age. But it turns out that there are there are plenty of them. Ghislaine Maxwell just being probably the most famous one of all time. So she wants to testify, and she wants to testify publicly in front of Congress. And that is a very big story that we are going to talk about. We got other people talking about it right now. Now, she's also in court today in her do or die retrial. Okay. So we're going to talk about that as well, because she is petitioning to be let out of prison. And I got to be honest, dude, if we're going to really play this game of like, there is no list and there's no evidence whatsoever that she or that, that Epstein was blackmailing anyone or any of this stuff you heard about. It's all conspiracy theories. None of the conspiracy theories were ever true. Okay, well, what is she doing in jail then? Right? Because you have no confirmed other perpetrators. She trafficked girls to who? No one? Like, who'd she traffic them to? No one? Like, what is she doing there? What's she doing in jail? What's she doing in prison? Right? Doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense at all. Okay? So she might actually get let out, but she wants to testify in front of Congress in an open court, which is exactly what should happen. I don't care. We're going to get into it. I don't want to hear any other opinions. Like, anyone who thinks that we should not put her in front of Congress is out of their mind. I will tell you why. The only argument that would make any sense of why not to do this, and it is a coherent argument, to be fair. So settle in, because this is a very important conversation. I got some other stuff to show you guys as well. And we're actually going to start with something else. Something else important, I think. But before I show you that, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and tell me in the comments what you think of this, especially this first story that I'm going to show you. Go ahead and like the video as well. Now, okay, the main story ended up being so long that I'm switching up the order, okay? This is Destiny. We've talked about him before. There's a long section about something he did today that you guys need to see. That's going to be at the end. That's going to be the last section of this video, because we got to talk about this stuff right now, but you need to see this, so stick around. Benny Johnson here. This is a huge update here. Okay, so Laura Trump says that the Trump administration will release more Epstein evidence and will have more transparency. She says that President Trump hears the base on this issue and knows how, quote, important it is, and Trump will, quote, set things right. And you're like, okay, I mean, I can't keep track of what is this, like, what's the status here? Yesterday, like, I'm reading a paragraph that's this long, that like there is nothing else, and that the list is made by the Democrats or whatever. And you're like, okay, but like, what, like, and now there's going to be more transparency. So what were we talking about before? You know what I mean? And so she says, there needs to be more transparency. I think that will happen. I know this is important to the president. He is frustrated. He is going to want to set things right. I believe there will be more coming, and anything they are able to release, they will try to get it out. They hear it and they understand it. To anyone worked up out there, there is no plot to keep this information away. I'm sure we will know down the line. Okay, so just to be clear, That to me sounds like they're pushing it off, right? Like they're trying to calm the base down because everyone is hammering them now. You know, it's like you found the one topic where you could like completely turn your entire base against you. Not like permanently. I'm not like, and I want to be clear when we're talking about this issue. Like I'm talking about this issue. Okay. I'm not like disavowing the administration. You know, like I have more ability to kind of evaluate everything that's going on. And I've told you, I don't like how immigration is going right now at all. I don't think it makes any sense to be rounding up and shipping out people who have been here working for years, have families here. It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. I want people who snuck under the wall, who are like just hanging out, people who are living off the state, like in New York, they're just giving them money, or people who are criminals or, you know, potential, you know, people who are going to blow things up, all that, get them out of here. Anybody who's in a gang, get them out, dude. But a person, why would we be going after people who like are housekeepers at a hotel for the last 9.5 years? Like, what are you doing? Why would we waste resources on that? It makes no sense to me at all. But I still think the administration is doing a good job. Like that's a single issue. And this Epstein thing is a single issue. You know what I mean? So like, I just think it's important to continue to say that because I hear like people are so like, there's so much overcorrection in this country where you're like, okay, so we'll do this. And then now all of a sudden now people are like, oh my God, it's like, it's all bad now. It's like, it's not all bad, dude. Like just relax. But this, clearly there's something going on that we don't understand. Like, I don't understand what is going on. I mean, I said yesterday that my assumption is that someone read him in, right? And I'll explain more of that actually in a second. I want to go to the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff and then I'll come back to this, okay? So actually, let me start right here. Okay, so Ghislaine Maxwell is saying that she wants to testify in front of Congress and testify to everything she knows about Jeffrey Epstein, okay? So per this quote, I mean, this is exactly right, what Benny Johnson wrote here. She ran the whole operation. She knows every name, every detail. This is low-hanging fruit. The people demand answers. The longer it takes, the worse this crisis gets. 100% correct. 100% correct. Right? And when you have like Benny Johnson and I voted for the same guy. Me and Benny Johnson are not the same. Like he and I are not the same at all. You know, like he is a political commentator. He's a hardcore, like conservative commentator who is almost never going to break from the administration's, you know, like he's going to be aligned with the administration against basically anyone who is attacking it for any reason is my impression. I'm not like, this is not an attack on him. This is just where he sits. I am a total independent. Like I'm an actual independent, as I have hopefully demonstrated to you guys with my opinions on things that I never agree with everything. I never agree with everything that any administration is doing ever. That's never happened. Okay. So my point is that if Benny Johnson is like, this is a crisis, what are they doing? Okay. Like you've lost everybody. Like you have lost everyone on this issue. Okay. Now I want to listen. I want to let him talk and then I'll tell you what I think also.
Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to testify. The way to put the dog down is take her out of her cell, put her in front of the American people, and say, yo, what was this exactly? Since you were there and all the firsthand witnesses seem to be dying of mysterious circumstances, including but not limited to Virginia Roberts, who was just killed before this.
Yep. Here's the other thing. There is, now I agree with him that this, obviously, I am aligned. Put her in front of Congress, let her speak, let everyone listen to her. Here is the only other way that they have to get out of this. So I don't know, guys, you know, if you know people in the administration and you want them to actually have a good idea here, because clearly they are not being fed good ideas. All right. Like, and I'm actually being serious right now. I do have the reach at this point that like, you know, 50, 60, 70,000 people see something and you're like, anyone who knows them, send this to them. There is actually a high probability that someone gets this to the people that I'm talking about. Now, the White House might be a little high for that, but in every other case, the person always sees it when I say that. And clearly, no one is giving you good ideas. Here is the solution for this if you don't want to put Maxwell in front of Congress, okay? I've said this in the last few videos. You need to pick low-hanging fruit and feed it to us, okay? Like, pick someone who does not have a ton of global power and throw them to the wolves, dude. Now, I don't know I don't know the nature of this entire thing. Okay, I want to be perfectly clear about that. Like, as far as this is me operating from a perspective that where Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were entrapping people. Okay, if they were entrapping people, which means, hey, come on the plane, hey, come to the island, man. Like, you're gonna have the greatest time ever, and they got a bunch of 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds there, you know, walking around in bikinis or 13, 12, whatever, and they're like, hey, look, we're in international waters. There are no rules here. You do whatever you want. And by the way, guys, I haven't heard anyone say this, but when you're looking for people to get prosecuted, okay, like you want people to go to jail. That's what you want, right? Well, there's a pretty big problem here, right? You commit a crime at Little St. James. Whose jurisdiction is that, right? Like you show somebody a video of someone committing a crime. You have no idea where it is, but you know it's definitely not in America or whatever. Okay, like what do you do with that? You think that I don't even know. I don't even think the FBI or the government could charge people for that. I mean, I don't know, but like if someone commits a crime when they're in another country, you're worried about getting arrested in that country. Okay, Little St. James, I think that was kind of the whole point of the island, right? But here's the thing, right? If they were being entrapped and then they were being confronted with blackmail, and then you have a collection of all this blackmail with all these people who are being entrapped, then what you have to do in that case is pick some people. You have to give up the power that you have, and you have to throw them to the wolves. Two people, low level people. Throw them to the wolves, and everyone will shut up, okay? Keep the really high-level ones, which is why I believe they're doing this, is because they don't want to give up the leverage that they have on people, okay? Like, because it's not like you're not going to absorb the power that the person that you give up. You're destroying anyone that you talk about or you expose, you're destroying them, which they deserve, for the record. But in international affairs, you no longer have that leverage at this point, okay? While you have the leverage, you can wield their power. The second that you destroy them, that power's gone. Someone else will get it, and you won't have leverage on them, okay? Like, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal in international affairs if they have the amount of people under their thumb as I believe that they do, okay? But here's the other thing, okay? And this is the other option that I was just talking about with someone. There is a world where these people were not entrapped, okay, where they volunteered to be a part of whatever this thing is. That's the more kind of like, you know, we talked about Pizzagate in the last video, the one that I did last night, not the last video, the one before that. In that world, if that thing is real, like really real, okay, like all the way real, then what you could be looking at is people who volunteer to commit something that commits them to the group, right? Where it's like, how do you know you can trust a person? They do something so, like, you know, gives people the ability to, it's like, and so that now we're going to be doing global trafficking. We're going to be doing all of these things together. I need to know I can trust you. And they volunteer to be a part of something that gives them the leverage, in which case you can't throw anyone to the wolves, because then the entire group knows they won't be protected. The whole point, if you do it that way, is that they do this and they protect each other. That's the whole entire idea behind what, you know, Lasagna Gate would actually be if it's the worst case scenario, right? That all these people are in league. All of them know that they are devil worshiping, fucking evil, whatever, cabal, and then they protect each other. And for the record, this absolutely 100% is what was going on in the UK in the 80s and 90s, or 70s, 80s, 90s. That's not even up for debate. And I will show you a documentary about that at some point. It'll be the most demonetized video ever, but I will show you what I'm talking about. There's no question in the UK that happened. Now, if it was a global thing and the Epstein thing is like that, where they are volunteered, then you can't throw anyone to the wolves if you're them. And in my opinion, you need to burn it to the fucking ground, all of them. You need to burn them all. But I'm just saying my solution doesn't work if that's the case. Let's continue.
Why do I say killed? That she's the premier witness to all of Epstein's crimes. She was hit by a bus in the middle of the Australian outback, winds up
that wasn't true.
In the hospital, posts that she's about to die, and then days later she commits suicide. Come on, man.
The bus thing was weird BS though. But the other part, you know, where listen, I thought that it was high probability she did it to herself initially, and that's like the first time I've ever looked at something like that thinking that she probably did, just because she seemed so unhinged and everything was falling apart in her life. But nonetheless, I have changed my opinion on that.
Dude, like, quit insulting us, right? Like, the lack of creativity, quite frankly, is depressing. Anyway, they're running out of like firsthand witnesses. And they're without giving us any kind of hard evidence and telling us to shut up and move along. What happens is then the conversation spirals and becomes subterranean, and it becomes darker, and people like assume the absolute worst.
Well, I just told you what the worst is. Okay, I just told you, like, if anybody's wondering what the worst case scenario is, I just laid it out. Now, I didn't get into the specific crimes that I would be implying if it is all the way bad, right? But just think of the absolute worst thing that you could possibly do ever, okay? Like things like we talked about in my video from yesterday. That's what we're talking about in the worst case scenario. But here's the thing. I'm just going to tell you my opinion on the Ghislaine Maxwell testifying thing. This is simple, okay? She should go in front of Congress and answer all the questions, and anyone who tries to block that, we should treat as if they're a perpetrator. It's that simple. Why are you blocking her? Why would you not want her to come testify? What possible reason could you have to not want her to come testify? With one exception, if you are the big guy and a couple of people who are like at the absolute pinnacle around him. And the only reason that anyone would block her from testifying is because they're either compromised or which is what I believe is going on. This next part is, I think Trump got read in and he understands the gravity of the amount of leverage that they have around the world due to Epstein. I think Epstein's still alive. I've always said that. I think that is the most likely scenario, that Epstein's still alive, and that now Trump is all the way read in. And so he's in this tiny little group that understands that if they burn everyone, they are going to lose such an immense amount of global power that it's a trade they're not willing to make. You know, whoever read him in convinced him. It's like, dude, we need to protect what we have here. This is the most power we can possibly put, like leverage around the world, non-violent. If we this is how I would present it. If I was them, I'd be like, we are in the business of saving lives, right? We are in the business of saving lives. So you're explaining to me that you were running an operation where you were having elites, destroy little children for their entire life. And you're telling me that whatever. And it's like, yes, that's what I'm telling you, because what we do with that leverage, the people we have leverage on, okay, if we no longer have that leverage, we're going to have to go and we're going to have to militarily enforce what we need, which means thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people die for each person that we expose. And you put it to me like that, and you're like, we're talking about saving thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of children in every event. I mean, that is a tough decision that you have to really consider. Like, I understand, like, obviously my primary, like the most important thing, if you are wired like me, is protect children, like protect women and children. You protect innocence. Like, if you've got one girl over here who is an OnlyFans girl, who, if you got Bonnie Blue over here and you have the same age girl over here who has spent her entire life, in the church and doing the right things and is innocent, you protect that fucking innocent girl like she is 2 years old. Like, innocence and good people are the most important thing for people like me and you guys to protect. Okay. I'm not one of them, but I'm in a different group. Like, I've seen some fucking life, dude. I've seen some life, but I'm nothing like victimizers. I'm the person who fucking attacks people who need to be attacked to protect good people. That's how I see myself anyway. How I see basically everyone in my like social circle is just like me. Everyone. And I would assume the vast majority of the viewers that watch this channel are just like me. And so if they put it to you like that, how are you going to say, no, let's expose it? If you really believe that there are going to be thousands of innocent children who are going to die. And that's not wrong either. If this thing is what I think it is, it's not wrong. But nonetheless, people in Congress who get on board with trying to block it, what are you doing? They should have, I understand that like this is the real complexity of this thing. Okay. I understand that if the big guy has been convinced that they need to bury this for the reasons that I just laid out, and you're in Congress, you're a Republican Congress, member of Congress, and he's hitting you up, and if you're like advocating, let's get her on, he hits you up, he's like, I need you to stop doing that, and I need you to, whatever. He does have the political capital to shut them down, and they like, and be like, I need you on my team. We cannot have this come out. I can't talk about it. You know, I understand the suspicion is always going to be that, oh, they must have compromising information on him. I 100% do not believe that is what he's going at all. Like, I don't believe that at all, because Trump, he only has one speed. He will fight, right? He's going to fight. Like, Trump's going to fight. That's the only thing he knows how to do, is the only thing he does. He will never bend the knee to anybody. Like, I'm telling you, if you have any faith in my ability to read people, then hear what I'm saying right now, that is an opinion that is immovable, okay? And I'm not saying it like it's some great big compliment, like I'm like, he's the toughest guy in the world. I'm saying it's actually like a kind of a character defect that works very well in his favor in many cases. But that dude is never, ever, ever going to bend the knee to anybody. Ever. He will never do that. There's nothing you could present him with that would be that. You know what I mean? Barring you having a gun to his grandkid's head or something. You know what I mean? Come with a tape. Oh, here's you with whatever. He's going to tell you to go fuck yourself. And then he's going to start attacking you online. So, anyway, that's what it is. They should put her on, you know, like, I mean, I obviously want to hear what she's going to say. So let's hear what Roger Stone says. He says, a longtime political ally of Donald Trump has welcomed reports that Ghislaine Maxwell might be willing to testify to Congress. And he said Epstein's former associate has nothing on Trump, pushing back on speculation that Maxwell's testimony could implicate the president. I mean, I love this because I love that they think that, because I'm so confident that they don't have anything on him, that I love that the Democrats are trying to push for this. Let's fucking get it. Let's get it going, dude. We're all aligned, right? You got 97. Hey, this is what democracy is, right? You got 97% of the population who wants to see her go and testify. Why would she not testify? I know we've discussed him recently, but this is destiny. Okay. Now, the reason you're looking at this stupid fuck's face again, and his stupid hair and his everything about this guy just screams like, I want to touch children much younger than Jeffrey Epstein did. And it's funny because before I even show you why we're talking about him, I just want to remind everybody that this guy, he had a little scandal a few months ago. And the basis of that scandal was that he had shared, you know, like the original scandal was he had gotten naked photos of some girl who shared them with him that was like also like an influencer. And then he shared them with a bunch of people without her knowledge, you know, revenge porn, all that stuff. But in the leaked DMs between him and one of the girls that he shared the pictures with was some very interesting conversations. You know, he's sitting at home, you know, kind of like, oh, yes, I'm touching myself and talking about these dirty things. And one of the things that he said to this girl, who was also a teenager, by the way, I believe she was like 19, is he said, sometimes I fantasize about having a child concubine who only exists to pleasure me. And I was like, oh, well, I guess that's the end of any conversations between me and you, huh, guy? Because my answer to anything you say is always going to be, why don't you tell us about how you fantasize about children that only exist to pleasure you? It's kind of a big trump card, don't you think? Now, why are we talking about him? Let me show you what he put on X today. Has anyone demanded pregnancy testing yet for the bodies of all the girls and women who died in Texas yet due to the floods? We need to demand accountability from our leaders to make sure the final death toll is accurate. I don't want to miss any 4 to 6 week old fetuses. They are the same as delivered breathing babies, according to Republicans, in our final death count. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I get set off by things and then they kind of go through me and then I like let them go, you know? Like this guy's not capable of making me actually mad. Now we got a lot of stuff to get through, so I'm just going to pose a couple questions just as a response to this, right? First one, to Destiny. How come you don't ever say things like that when you are in person with someone, right? Like you do these debates with these guys, right? Like, why don't you say that in front of somebody? Even someone nonviolent, dude. Like, say it to like Jordan Peterson or something. Say something like that to someone who is in person and can react to that. You know what I mean? Something tells me he would probably skip that line if I'm sitting across the table from him. You know what I mean? So my other question is just to his viewers. So I just assume if you still watch his channel, then that means you're signing off on that, right? Making fun of dead children. Like making fun of parents who just lost their child. Now, Destiny, by the way, has a son. And you're never going to guess this, but he's not involved in his life, I heard. You know, doesn't live with him, doesn't see him as far as I know. Who knows? I mean, maybe he pays child support or something, but what's that 50 Cent song? You're not like me, dude. You're not like me. You know what I mean? My kids are my life. And the thought of saying a thing like that is, it's as foreign as sexually fantasizing about a child. So, bottom line, You guys keep watching Destiny, dude, and I'll keep doing my thing. And something tells me that we're not going to have a lot in common if you're down with this fucking guy. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't at least just say the following, okay? Like, I would be a fan of Destiny if he was not such a psychopathic lunatic. Like, I like listening to him talk, or I liked it too before I knew, what's going on inside of his, what's going on inside of his noodle. And I realized that what he's doing is intended to have me doing this video. Like, it's intended to have everybody else doing the video who's not going to talk about the kitty concubine. That's why I always talk about it. It's like, oh, you want to rile people up with the dead children joke. Well, he wants them to all go, fuck Destiny. He's trying to rile them up. Right. And it's like, well, there need to be some unintended consequences every time that he does this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he's not super worried about what I'm saying about him on the channel, but, maybe you guys, listen, anybody who I see all these responses to, like, when he does this, people are furious. I'm like, why don't you guys just bring up, the thing about the, that's a trump card. He's saying something you don't want him to say. Say something he doesn't want you to say. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, whatever. That's enough. He does look like Jeffrey Epstein's gay butler, though, dude. Like the one who actually likes kids so much younger than everybody else that they think of him as like a sick fuck. Like Jeffrey Epstein and his friends, like they look at him and they're like, God, man, like that guy's a fucking sicko, dude. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you actually like if you play this out in your mind for real, and you imagine that there was like some guy who worked for Epstein who was like well known as the sickest guy in the group, who had some lowly job, was literally like they're like one of the waiters, one of their gay waiters, and everybody knew that he likes kids that are like 3. You know what I mean? If you like visualize that guy in your mind, bam, that's exactly what they look like. I'm being totally serious about that. In my mind, I visualize the worst, the low level trash guy, the trash guy with the worst job, and he likes the 2, 2, and 3-year-olds. That's exactly what I visualize. Anyway, that's what I got. Bye.